What is Half-Life 2? Half-Life 2 is the sequel to the 1998 game Half-Life. Half-Life won over 50 Game of the Year awards for having amazing action, a great story, and really interesting puzzles that kept the player immersed through the entire game. Half-Life 2, developed by Valve Corporation and distributed by Sierra Entertainment, is one of the games that actually continues a great legacy in the history of video gaming. After the surprise ending of Half-Life, you continue the life of Gordon Freeman, a 27-year-old physicist from Black Mesa. After encountering several Combine soldiers while being dropped into City 17, you meet also several lovable characters of Half-Life, including the lovely Miss Alex Vance, Barney, and Dr. Kleiner. You're soon drawn back into your famous HEV suit and a crowbar, and you continue the heart-pounding action while being chased by Combine, zombies, and meeting a couple of other interesting characters. The story will take several twists and turns for better or for worse, which will keep the player, you, on the edge of your seat. The storyline in Half-Life 2 is one of the greatest I've ever seen. As mentioned earlier, the original Half-Life had amazing action. That's not to say Half-Life 2 doesn't. Half-Life 2 is some of the greatest action I've ever seen in my life. From taking on Combines with crowbars, or these huge aliens with machine guns, Half-Life 2 offers some of the best, non-stop, heart-pounding, edge-of-your-seat action out there. And to help spice things up a bit, your arsenal's been touched up as well. From having machine guns with grenade launchers and Combine sci-fi laser weapons, we've also been giving a very innovative new weapon called the gravity gun. The gravity gun uses the amazing physics, which I'll talk about later, at your advantage. You can literally pick up almost anything from bricks, blades, and tables and hurl them at your enemies. And as if your favorite machine gun and shotgun isn't enough, some vehicles have been added to spice up the variety. In certain levels, take an airboat through the sewers of City 17. Or if you're feeling a little bit quaint, you may as well take a little beat-up buggy with a laser gun and drive off the side beaches of Highway 17. Either way, you'll enjoy the action Half-Life has to offer. Half-Life 2 was in development for about 6 years since the original was finished. We were hoping for some great graphics, and we damn well got them. The Source engine did a great job with the graphics, including unbelievable pixel shaders, lighting effects, and anti-aliasing. Every single character model animates perfectly, even down to the lip syncing. And also in the Source engine included is Havoc physics. These physics come into big play when puzzles come into the mix. The physics also make ragdoll effects amazing and just heart-pounding to watch. The audio in Half-Life 2 is great, but not as great as the original. Some of the weapons sound really great, like the shotgun and the gravity gun, all have a great punch to them and make them sound like something really fun to use. But other weapons like the pistol, the 9mm to be specific, sound so weak and underdone compared to the pistol in the original Half-Life and in many other games. But that aside, the other parts of the sound are absolutely astounding and brilliant. Every character has hundreds of different sublines to keep sound from being repetitive. The environment in the background also sounds absolutely wonderful. Birds sing in the background, the wind blows in your hair, and other vehicles make nice ambient sounds to make the world come alive, and is really something to remember. As you can see, Half-Life 2 definitely lives up to its predecessor, but sadly, no multiplayer component set in the Half-Life universe was put out on the initial release. Instead, it came with Counter-Strike Source, which is a very good game, but it would have been nice to see something set in the Half-Life universe. The lack of any multiplayer component at the initial release date, and the lack of amazement that the original Half-Life brought us are the few things that hurt this game, but that doesn't derive it of any amount of fun that it should be giving you, which it definitely will. It'll be almost impossible for any FPS to capture your minds and imagination as Half-Life did, and Half-Life 2 is the closest it can get. With this in mind, Half-Life 2 is a solid purchase, ranking it a 9.0 out of 10.